Alright, welcome back. Learning goals for today. We are going to identify independent and dependent variables. We are going to identify relationships between tables, graphs, and equations, and write an equation. This is standard 6EE C9. Naomi runs about 7 miles an hour. This indicates 7 miles an hour. So how would we find out how many miles Naomi ran? We would multiply 7 times the hours. So we need to write an equation to model the situation and define each variable. So let's use H for hours and M for miles. So we just said we need to multiply 7 times hours to find out how many miles she ran. Independent and dependent variables. So independent variables are variables that don't depend on anything, such as time, years, minutes, hours are often independent variables because time passes no matter what we do. We cannot stop time. So that's a good way to think about it. So here, our situation for our independent variables is hours. The dependent variable absolutely depends on the hours that passed. So depending on how many hours that pass depends on how many miles she runs. So let's go back to our equation. I'm going to rewrite it. 7H equals M. And then we're going to complete the table and graph based on this information. Oh, this one says 6 miles an hour. So what would it be? Let me erase that so we can get this. This is a new problem. I guess I forgot. 6 miles per hour. See, I changed it because of the 6 in miles per hour. So 6 miles per hour equals M. Complete the table and graph. So the way I do this is substitution. I can also just figure it out in my head. I'm going to do it by substitution so you can see how that works. So if she has had 0 hours passed, I would take this H out, which I can highlight that. So I'm going to take the H out and put a 0 in. So it would be 6 times 0 equals M. So that's what I'm trying to figure out is M. And I literally just substituted the red for the red. So 6 times 0 is 0. So 0 equals M. So that's my first part of the chart. Then I'm going to take the 0 out, or the H out, and put the 0.5 in. So I'm going to put 6 times 0.5 equals M. Well, 6 times 0.5 is 3. And then I'm going to take the H out and put the 1 in. 6 times 1 equals M. So 6 equals M because 6 times 1 is 6. And now, finally, I'm going to take the 2 out. Or the H out and put the 2 in. Sorry. 6 times 2 equals M. So in 2 hours, she ran 12 miles. Now I'm just going to graph this. So I'm going to erase this stuff real quick. If you needed it, just go ahead and pause the video. Oops. Okay, so this becomes my coordinate. So I have the independent variable as my X. my dependent variable as my y when I'm graphing. So that becomes my coordinates, which this first one would be 0, 0. Second one would be 0.5, 3, 1, 6, and 2, 12. So now I'm going to graph those. So I have 0, 0. I'm going to try to get them on the graph right there. Halfway in between 1 and 0 is 0.5. So I have 0.5, 3. Remember, we go left and right first with the x. And then 1, 6. And then 2, 12. So then I would draw a line through that. And that is our graph. So we can predict at, let's say, 1.5, just a little bit of extra here. So we're going to go up 1.5. I'm going to go up, and I could see it's going to be right there on the graph. So wherever it touches on the graph, is how many miles she ran.